It's a common sense recap of the big stories. It's Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
Well,
Exactly.
Gordon Chang, what the heck is going on in China that's going to affect all these things? And have they finally caught President Biden with his hands in the till?
Well, the American people, I think, caught President Biden and the Biden family with the hands in the till. I mean, it's $27 million, much of it from China. And the money from China came in circumstances which strongly suggest corruption. So it's not just that they got money, it's they got money in a crooked manner. And the Chinese have been, I'm sure, very happy to have Biden there. Now, of course, they're going to have to go after somebody else. And they can't touch Trump because they know that he's not someone to mess with. And I think that they're looking at Harris as maybe easy pickings.
Wow. You know, one of the things I just heard a little bit ago, Gordon, was, and President Trump was speaking, he was talking about how, you know, the dismal withdrawal of Afghanistan and Bagram Air Base. I've been to Bagram when I went over there and I was covering it. And this, you know, was during the war, but obviously we pulled out of Afghanistan. And he brought up how China now has control of Bagram and it's an hour away. Like how dangerous that is at a time where, you know, they're talking about nuclear development.
Yes, and this was foreseeable. You know, when Mark Milley, who was then chairman of the Joint Chiefs, said, "Oh, let's just leave all that equipment there," he did not understand the symbolic significance of having our enemies parade around the world, as they're doing now, in our vehicles and brandishing our weapons. And, of course, as you point out, after the fall of Afghanistan, which was catastrophic, we had the war in Ukraine, we got the war in Israel, we got the insurgencies in North Africa that look like wars. And as of Monday, it looks like China wants to start a war at Sabina Shoal in the South China Sea against the Philippines. So this is just one disaster after another.
As President Obama said himself, what did he say about President Biden or Vice President Biden at the time?
Oh, yeah, that Robert Gates, he said, right? He's wrong on every...
President Obama
said he screws up everything.
Yeah. Well, Gates reinforced that, too.
He said a better word than that, but I can't say it on the air.
We could bleep
Starts
you.
with an F.
We could bleep you.
Yeah. Robert Gates, in his 2014 memoir, wrote, Joe Biden has been wrong on nearly every foreign policy and national security matter of the past 4 decades. That's almost a direct quote. So, and he has shown that just time after time after time.
Well, I understand the decision was made by Nancy Pelosi and Obama to dump Joe Biden because the Joint Committee on impeachment, both the Democrats and the Republicans realized that they caught him with his hands in the till.
Yes, and I think that really, when you look at the timing of the June debate between Biden and President Trump, I think that was time to give the Democrats the runway in order to dump Biden, because they knew that if he were at the top of the ticket, he would take down the Democratic Party. So what they wanted to do was create some rules which were favorable to Trump. Remember, the Democrats were the ones insisting on those rules favorable to Trump. And that's a strong signal that this was a setup and that Biden was taken down by his own party.
He was definitely taken down by his own party. We got a minute left, Gordon. What do you want to tell the American people? I mean, I can't believe what kind of foreign policy mess we're in. Domestic policy, how our borders are just wide open. And it looks like that possibly that President Biden was taking the money and was performing for it.
Yeah. The one thing that's really serious is that this Monday, China rammed 2 Philippine ships at Sabina Shoal in the South China Sea. This follows very aggressive actions on June 17th. China, I think, is shifting its attentions away from Taiwan, which would be too hard of a military target, and they're focusing on the Philippines because they think they can get a quick, easy win. This is where
and that
war
Harris,
in Asia can start.
That Biden or Harris may not do anything about it.
Absolutely. The timing, I think, is not coincidental. The Chinese are smelling that the administration's not going to do anything. They're smelling the weakness.
I think you might be more right than wrong. Where do we have that thing with that space robot? Danger, danger, danger. And people out there have to realize that they could go in and take the Philippines, and nobody's going to say anything about it.
You know, the problem is, John,
say
so many places. Look at all the things that have happened so far. I mean, I feel like we're in danger in a lot of spots around the world.
You don't have that danger, danger, danger?
We're working on it. Let's see.
Whatever happens in Monroe, wait a second. Whatever happens in Monroe Doctrine, the Chinese
lost in space.
Yeah,
yes,
the Chinese are there. Okay, the Russians are there. The Iranians are there.
They're doing
all over the world.
Listen to me. They're doing what's good for their country. I'm not blaming them for anything. If we had that kind of dictatorship, we may do the same thing. But,
yeah, they're taking advantage.
But what I said to Gordon when I talked to him over the weekend, and I said to other people, the free world is depending on the United States of America to keep it free. Now, if anybody listening to this microphone right now, if you're depending on Harris to keep the free world free, you're in trouble.
I mean,
yeah, big time.
John, you look at what's happening to every urban city in America. You know, we dropped 40,000 kids into a failing school system. This is happening across the country. You've said yourself 120,000, 100,000 a year in fentanyl. Those are young people. Those are young people. The Army and the military is missing all of their numbers. I mean, we're getting weak and being destroyed from inside.
You're going to have 100,000 weaklings in our army, maybe, if they keep going the way they're going, fighting 100,000, big Chinese.
Formidable adversaries.
Yeah.
Well
Thank you, Gordon
armed.
Chang. Keep your eyes open and text me whenever you have anything hot to talk about.
Thank you, Gordon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gordon.